Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's uLaw webinar. Today's uLaw webinar topic is around the document management simplified. And today's webinar has not been accredited for any CPD credits. It's in fact going to be a session where I'm going to walk you through one of the key critical features of the uLaw product. uLaw is a Canadian legal accounting practice management and a business accounting software that allows legal professionals across Canada to better manage their practice and their compliance, both with regards to compliance with their respective law societies as well as compliance as it pertains to a business ownership with the CRA. Today's webinar is going to hopefully help you understand how best you can manage the various amounts of documents that you generate both from within uLawPractice as a product as well as other documents that you scan or bring in as a digital copy into a life cycle or a workflow within a file management experience. Okay? Once again, I repeat that today's webinar is not accredited for any CPD credits, but hopefully it's a meaningful session for you to know more about one of these key features in the product. We're going to talk about document management as it pertains to the various options that you have as a user of the uLaw product. Managing documents, of course, as a local storage. So you generate a document, you do have the opportunity to create your own local storage. When I say own, means in your own laptop, your own device, your MacBook, whatever it may be. Or you have the option of being able to store these documents in context with the uLaw file in the cloud. And to give you that feature and facility, what we've done is we've integrated with leading document management systems such as Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, and Box. And through the purpose of today's webinar, I'm going to help understand how this integration happens, the key steps that you have to take to make it work, and show you in terms of workflow what it means to manage these clouds in the context of the uLaw file in these document storage cloud repositories. Okay. Now, in terms of existing cloud storage providers or players in the marketplace, we started off with integrating with Google Drive to begin with. We're slowly expanding with OneDrive. It's provided by Microsoft. We're constantly making updates as these vendors change. Recently, we had a change made by OneDrive, and we had to take some time to tweak this integration between uLaw because it was broken for a while, but that's part of our support. That's part of our product development that continues to invest, make these changes as changes occur in real life with these providers. So that's on us. It's part of the package. There's no extra cost for that. But for you to determine within these options that we provide you, we wanted to kind of briefly share some price points as well as storage points that can kind of hopefully give you a starting point. So if you do have a Google or a Gmail account for your business, for your legal business, then I'm sure you understand that you do get Google Drive, which is a cloud storage product of Google, along with that Gmail account. You may have this with your personal ID. You could also have it for your business ID, and they can be separate. Likewise, if you purchase OneDrive, which is the Microsoft Office 365 version of helping you with managing your business, whether that's for email, cloud document management in terms of the OneDrive itself, giving you the power of Word, Excel, having all that information for your business in the cloud, then you have OneDrive as an option. Now, besides these two key players, you also may have the option to say, I have Gmail, but you know what? For the longest time, I've used this third-party tool called Dropbox, which gives you, of course, the same cloud storage facility for you to manage documents in the cloud. Dropbox, I don't believe, gives you any email or other facilities such as, let's say, Gmail or Microsoft's Office 365, but is a robust cloud document storage system, and so is the box. If you look at the cost effectiveness and convenience, most of these tools have advanced to a point where it is commoditized. It's available to you for to compare price points. Google providing you probably the most bang for your buck. Just for starters, it gives you 15 gigabytes of storage, and that should certainly suffice, hundreds, if not thousands, of file storage for documents. It comes with the basic Gmail account that you may open for your business. And the step down from that is OneDrive gives you free for 5 gigabytes. Now, you always have the option to upgrade these storage costs, like anything else in life, upgrade these free storage capacities to 1 terabyte on an on-demand basis. They have their own pricing. I believe Google is under $10 a month, for example, and so is OneDrive. It's a comparison of cost and convenience. One of the opportunities that you have if you store these documents in the cloud is the ability for you to access these documents anytime, anywhere, especially in a day and age that we're in right now. The ability for you to access any information or documents that you've generated for your business right in the cloud, not depending on a device that you can't access, is, I believe, priceless. Another key consideration for these cloud-based document management systems is the security and the automated backups. So you don't have to worry once you have these documents in the cloud that they're automatically backed up. I think each company provides its own service level agreement, but by and far you have at least 99.9% uptime and automate backups. Secure access, so they are encrypted, so your data is secure. Now, you always have the opportunity to secure any files locally before you upload them. Word documents provide you that facility to password protect it. So if you really are very specific about security, you are able to do that locally before you even upload them onto the cloud or into the cloud. Okay. And the last but not the least, again, we've had this slide share for a while, but the pros and cons, and for beyond a point, remains to be the same. One of the important components that these cloud storage systems do provide is the ability for you to upload multiple formats of documents. It's a reality. It's something that you come across every day. If you've got your driver's license scanned from your client as part of your client ID verification, you may get it as a JPEG file or PNG file or any image file that we're now used to. If you've got documents that you're generating out of uLaw, you could have it as Word documents or have them converted as PDFs. If you have court documents, as you know, you have a variety of documents between Word documents as well as PDFs as well, fillable PDFs, etc. Receipts, if you're taking photos of receipts for office management and wanting to share that within the context of the uLaw expense folder, then of course you have those varieties of formats that you need to keep in mind. And these cloud-based storage systems do provide the facility to either convert all of these into a standard format, or like something like a OneDrive allows you to hold a Word document in its native format even. So what are the negatives? Of course, right off the bat, there is a need for internet. Though there are certain tools like Drive that do allow for offline storage, if you need to upload or download documents, of course, as you can appreciate, you do need the access to internet. But it has become stable state these days, so it's definitely something to keep in mind. Storage limits and incremental pricing plans. It's not so much a con, but it's something for you to keep in mind. As a consumer, you're very much used to these plans in today's modern marketplace. So something for you to consider keep in mind and ensure that you have planned or a budget to include the cost of ownership if you do have these cloud storage systems. There's always this perceived notion of a lack of control because it's not locally residing in your device that you have direct access to. But as I said, it's a conversation that you need to have with yourself and others who help make decisions for your firm about cost, convenience, and the security aspect of it. If you're having it in a laptop, you could always have an issue with the laptop or, let's say, desktop crashing. If you have dependency on a specific device, then you're dependent on making sure that you are doing all of the backups from that local device into the cloud or maybe another storage device that you have. If this is hooked onto a internet in your office space and you're not able to access your office for many reasons, then accessing the documents in that local device can be a challenge. So there's some pros and cons for both having these cloud storage systems and not. So please to make the wise decision based on your specific situation. This entire webinar is being recorded and will most certainly be available to you as early as Monday next week for you to review. So please do search it up on Google or any other search engine. Make your decisions between the cost comparisons between the 4 different options that are supported. A lot of our clients today, a good majority of them, shuttle between Google Drive and Microsoft's OneDrive. So we do have, so for today's demonstration, I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up a Google Drive with uLaw. Time permitting, I'll also show you the OneDrive aspect to it. And we'll show you how easy it is to connect uLawPractice with your choice of cloud storage, the integration points between the uLaw system and your online storage system. We'll also talk about how easy it is to drag and drop and organize these documents that are being stored in the context of a file or a matter within the uLaw product. Okay. Now, if you really like to encrypt these documents locally in your computer before you upload them into any cloud storage system, we continue to talk about these 3 major players: Boxcryptor, Cypherx that allows you to encrypt documents. But a faster, easier way of doing this is also password protecting these files. So you could have a password that only you or your firm knows or your client knows, and you can upload these documents, let's say a retainer letter or fees, even store it with a password protection so that they enter it. When they click on that document, it asks them for the password right away. They can enter it and only then can access it right from the cloud. So before I actually jump into the demo, so why do all of this? The true benefits of the integration, if you will, between uLaw and your cloud document management is the fact that it's ease of use. The fact that you have all of the documents stored right in the context of that file. So when you're actually opening the file, whether it's for an audit or for your own internal consumption, and making sure that there's a history or an audit trail of everything that's happened within a file, it's just easier for you to review all of that right within uLaw. Keep in mind, though, the data itself is very much available to you within uLaw at any time. So, for example, if you have generated an invoice and you've created a PDF file of that invoice, let's say yesterday, and you send it to your client, and your client, for whatever reason, deleted that file and is actually asking you to resend that invoice, there are one of 2 options. One option, of course, is if you have already stored it in the cloud, then it's available for you to resend. Alternatively, you can always go into uLaw and reprint that invoice again if you haven't stored it as a physical document or a digital document in the cloud. Okay, so I just wanted to add that caveat a little bit so you know that the data very much exists for you to regenerate these documents. All right, so I'll quickly jump into my demo. For those who don't know who we are a Canadian company, as I mentioned earlier, based out of Ottawa. Our website is uLawPractice.com. We do offer a uLaw application 30-day trial, and for anyone who wants to check us out, we welcome you to our website. And we'll do our best to give you as much as information as we can about the benefits and how best we can value add as a company. I'm now going to shift gears, and a lot of whom have joined today's webinar. If you've been following the webinar series, we do use this fictitious uLawPractice user, Mr. Roger Moore, and I'm using the same uLawPractice account to walk you through this demonstration of integrating with Google Drive and OneDrive later on. Okay. All right. Let me take the first step. So this is your dashboard once you log in into the uLaw product. One of the fundamental steps that you would take before you even start to integrate uLaw with a document management system is first identify and tell uLaw what that system is. So to do that, you would use our Settings tab on the top right corner. And once you've clicked that, you would choose, you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tabs. You would choose the Matter tab, which actually has all these options right from default priority. And one of the options here right at the end is that of Matter Documents. By default, this is saved to none. And if this is the case, let me show you what the experience looks like. Let's go ahead and maybe create a client in real time so we can use that as a use case throughout today's demonstration. So I'll go ahead and say add new contact, add that to my clients group, and let us say this is Tina Sebastian. We could always add source of contact, a quick address. Mark it as a mailing address, phone number, etc., and save Tina's information. Okay? So this is the first step where you actually create the client record or client intake within uLaw, and then we're going to walk you through the next step after that. I'm just going to quickly wait for it to refresh, and there you go. So you've got Tina Sebastian. Now, the relationship that we build between the uLaw product and your cloud storage system begins at the matter level. So if you're actually creating your conflict check and all those documents right away before you determine or not whether it's a client, you can do so. But once you've made that confirmation or determination, even if you've not decided to move forward, you can always create a matter, tell us the context of that conversation. You know, it was a small claims matter, but then always make them as a ghost client or as a client who did not retain you, right? So if it's the worst case scenario of non-engagement, you can still have a matter pertaining to what that file or that conversation with that client originally was for. So we could choose any area of practice. So let's say this is a immigration, or it could be family law. This could be Tina was his, John. All right, so now that I've saved this matter, uLaw generates a file number that is unique to this specific matter or file that you've created for Tina, which is for the family law. Okay, and this is where the journey of the integration begins. Now, each matter screen, if you will, or menu option, has several tabs under it as well. In fact, it has 7 tabs, and one of the tabs here is called Documents. And when I start off this integration journey, the fact that we do not have any integration set with a cloud-based storage system, this is what you should expect as a message that tells you what the situation is. Basically says, kindly configure the product that you would be using to store matter documents. Okay? So this is because the settings is set to none. So for you to start that cloud integration, you would choose Google Drive. Let me start with that example, ensuring that you click the Save button. Okay? And once you've seen the save settings disappear, it automatically connects you into the Gmail account that you're choosing. Okay? Because you know, for a Google Drive, you choose a Gmail account. It would ask you for a password, a one-time to authorize between uLaw. It would basically ask you to log in into your Gmail account that you want to use. And as you've seen, you could choose one of many different Gmail accounts that you may already have. Or you can start afresh by creating or entering your Gmail address, your password, and make that connection. Now, how do you know a connection has been made? You know that right away when you see this connection done and the status, no documents found. So you could see that the status changed from please configure a product to no documents found. When you see this message, you can be certain or rest assured that uLaw has done its due diligence to connect with that particular Gmail account and the Google Drive pertaining to that Gmail account. And I have that Gmail account open and the Google Drive open right here. And what uLaw does is that it creates a folder in that Gmail or Google Drive account automatically, creates in fact 2 folders called Accounts and Matter. We do that automatically. Once the connection is made, you'd automatically see or magically see that uLawPractice folder appear in your Google Drive, and if you double click on it, you automatically see 2 folders automatically created. And what you would see if this is your first matter, you would see, based on the file number provided, a folder with that file number name on it. Okay? So there you go, TS24193. Okay? If I double click on that folder, I can, of course, look at the information pertaining to that folder. So if I look at details, clearly says the matter name, Tina versus John. So that's the information that we've got from the title. So you can easily understand what this particular file means, or what it was pertaining to. Okay? All right. So this is the first step in integrating uLaw with your Google Drive. Now let's go back to, let's say, the contacts. And let's say the first step that you've done is do a conflict check. You can generate that from uLaw itself, generate your PDF document. Now, if you've actually scanned the individual's driver's license, I don't believe I have any other driver's license except for Mr. Beans. I can actually take that driver's license, which could be a JPEG file. So maybe you scan it with your printer, take the driver's license, either take a picture or scan it with your scanner or printer. Have that, this is in the case of a JPEG file, and you can drag and drop it like I did right within the folder that pertains to Tina. Now what happens once that document is stored in Google Drive? When you go back into uLaw and you hit the refresh button, or if you just go into that folder the first time, you're going to notice that the document that you just stored within your Google Drive, Mr. Bean driver's license, automatically appears in the context of this matter. So here it probably makes little sense. What is TS, right? What is TS 24193? But here it makes a lot of sense because TS 24193 is a file for Tina Sebastian. It was a Tina versus John title family law matter. And you could also have a lot of your events, your dockets, your retainer agreements, a lot of financial information already in this matter. So here is a document outside of uLaw that's locally stored in your machine that's uploaded into Google Drive. Now you can do the same thing with the conflict screening document that we just generated from within uLaw. Okay, and if I go back into my Documents tab, you don't even actually have to refresh. You can just go into another tab and come back into the Documents tab. It auto-refreshes. Now it has chronologically arranged. It even knows when this file was created. That comes from the file's properties. This was created today. And even better, it tells you what type of document it is, whether it's a JPEG or a PDF, which Google user uploaded it. So if you have multiple individuals within your firm who collaborate on the same file, or you may have an assistant or a person who is working in the front office, maybe it's his or her job to do all this work, then their information would show up appropriately. It would tell you the size, so it's very easy for you to keep a tab of how much of file storage is being occupied by each matter. You can even have description as a way of collaborating. And I'm going to show that next to you. Right now, the description on both these documents are empty. So let's say I went into my driver's license. I could come in and add a description right within the Google Drive saying, canned driver's license when the client was in the office. Okay, it could be as detailed as you like. And once you toggle, you go back into Documents. There you go. You have that description now to provide more meat to what that document pertains to. In a single glance, you very well know what this particular document was. If you change the name within, let's say, Google Drive, I'm going to say rename. I'm going to call this Tina driver's license. It changes that here as well. Now you can also notice that this is a clickable document. So within uLaw, what we've done is we've integrated it tightly that if you actually click on that JPEG file, it actually opens Google Drive in real time. And unfortunately, that's all the driver's license I had for my demo, so you gotta bear with me as we have a look at Funny Mr. Bean. Okay. So right from within uLaw, you actually opened up this document. So the only thing you had to do to make that work is save that document in the particular folder that we had created within uLaw within your Gmail account, Google Drive. And as long as you add documents into this folder, that document starts to form under the Documents tab within that particular file. Okay. Same thing happens to the PDF document, which was the conflict screening report that we had just generated. You can see clearly there's not much conflict. It also date stamps. So it's readily available for you right from within the context of the file, chronologically arranged. Okay, so you can basically sort it by name. That's a good question. There's a question about whether we could simply save these documents in a physical location and back that up. Absolutely, yes. So if you look at this document that I just generated, to begin with, it stores it in your local machine. So I use a Windows machine, and this is automatically saved into my local downloads PDF. So you could actually go ahead and create your own file structure right within your own local computer, and you do not have to do this cloud storage at all. Ensuring if you can back this up yourself, no worries at all. But if you want those documents to be available under the Documents tab, it would have to be in the cloud for us to connect with, and it would have to be within Google Drive, etc. So that's a setting within your browser, and I can maybe take that question offline. So the question is, how do I change the location? That really pertains to the browser. Right now I've set it up in my Chrome browser to download all of those documents right into this folder called uLaw Invoices. It's a simple setting, and we'll definitely follow up with instructions if you're a current user as to how that is, because each browser can be different. You could be using a Safari browser, so the instructions for that is slightly different. So if you are a current uLaw user, I kindly request you to maybe email us quickly with that question as to how you can change this local directory, and we'll definitely provide you with those instructions. Okay? So yes, the quick answer is these documents when you generate from uLaw. So let me go ahead and generate another document. I'm going to generate a client ID verification. So when I hit download, it generates the PDF on our server, and it pushes it into your local computer. You can see the directory is C:, which really means that it's local in my laptop. For me to move this from here into my Google Drive, that's an effort that I have to take by dragging and dropping it, or I could do all of this work, save it locally. I can say I got the driver's license and meeting date verified by Roger Moore. Okay. I can further save this document. And when I save it, I can save it into a local drive, or I could save it into my downloads document, right? Or it could be in my whatever folder structure I want it to be. It could even be in my desktop. That's a mess for sure. Or alternatively, I can drag and drop that same document into my Google Drive account for it to then be available right within uLaw. So if it's physically stored, it's not available in uLaw. It's available with you in your local computer. If it's available on the cloud and it's connected with this folder in the Gmail account or OneDrive account, whichever you tell us it is, then we connect with that and make those documents available to you right away. Okay? So here is the contact document that we just saved. Oh, wrong document. Pre-populated and readily available. So you could store Word documents, you could store JPEG files, image files, and PDF files as well. You can add descriptions to further enhance what that document was about. And you also have the modified date, the created date, so that it's easy to do an audit trail. So you can have all client-related documents right within the context of this file. Now, what other types of documents am I able to store? Okay. So, because we're also a business accounting software, you are able to store all the receipts of office expenses that have happened. You can see right away, like Matters, we have an accounts menu option, and we have documents under that as well. As I mentioned, when you connect uLaw for the first time with your Google Drive account, we not only provide you with a folder called Matter, because that's all related to the client. So of course, if it's related to the client, you'd store it under the Matter file. But if it's under accounts, we go by the year. We allow you to create your own year, own months. Okay. And you can store office receipts, other documents, bills pertaining to the month. And it's stored there as well. And one of the advantages that you have, and this is available both on your Google Drive, I believe, as well as your OneDrive, but I've seen this in Google Drive for sure. If you do have your Google Drive on your phone, whether it's your iOS or your Android phone, it does give you a, what do you call it, an app, a Google Drive app, okay? And I'm going to quickly shift gears to transfer control into my mobile app. And let me do that real quick. I'm going to show you how you can scan a receipt, upload it into the folder, and how it's made available right within uLaw as well. Okay, so with that, hopefully I'll kind of wrap this specific workflow. So I do have my folder set up. So let me transfer control to my phone. Now, for a quick second, you should see there you go. I've changed the control to my phone. And right here I have my Google folder. And right here I have my Drive. Okay? And I can choose the specific Google Drive account that I want to be in. And if you notice, I'm under uLawPractice, the same folder structure that I had on my web browser. Now, if I go into my accounts, I have the same 2020. And what I'm able to do now is add, by clicking on the plus symbol, I'm able to scan a receipt that I have right here. Okay. I can name it for now, or I can leave it later. That scanned receipt is now being uploaded right from the phone to the Google Drive app as a PDF file onto my uLaw. Well, actually into the Google Drive system, but it's under the main folder. Okay. And now let me show you my screen. And there you go. You're back to May. Double click on it right from here. There it is. And where does it in the context of uLaw? Hopefully this works. It should be right here. Okay, and I click on it, automatically shows me that receipt. Okay, so not only is it used to store documents that are related to your client and your matter, under the matter folder that we create, you're also able to organize your office business receipts that are created under the Accounts tab as well. Now I have a question, and maybe I'll answer it right away. It's about subfolders. Are we able to create subfolders within the Gmail? That's actually a good question. The answer is yes, you are. You would actually create them not within uLaw, but you would create them within the cloud storage system that you have, and uLaw would automatically accommodate. Okay? So for example, if I go into my matter and go into the same folder, I can create a new folder right here. And I could say new folder, client intake documents. And I can drag and drop and organize these files under the client intake documents. Right? I can create another folder called retainer agreement and receipt. I can create another folder called invoices. And a final folder, I can call it final closure. Or actually, you know what? I can say court documents. And final closure. Let me just call it final closure statement. So yes, so you're absolutely right. You can create these structures within your, online system, and essentially what would happen within uLaw is those would be available to you. So if I were to click on the client intake documents, it takes you right into that particular folder. And whatever you have grouped under those folders is what's shown within uLaw. Okay? So hopefully, so you could create retainer documents, you can create receipts, store them, depending really on the life cycle of that file, and that would be available under those folders for you in uLaw. So hopefully that answered that question. I'll pause if there are any more questions around this, but if not, I'll probably look to see if I can actually do the same thing with my OneDrive, provided that works. Okay, so all of this was in Google Drive that connects with your Gmail account. So let's go ahead and create another client, prior to which I'll go back to my settings. I'll change this to OneDrive. I want to say I have OneDrive. Okay, I believe I do. Just bear with me for a quick minute. I'm just looking to get my OneDrive link going before I can show the settings. Let me go into my files. Okay, so for whatever reason, it opens the file already. Oh, there you go. So I've already done that connection before with my OneDrive. Let me show you that again. I'm going to say OneDrive, hit the save button. Let me create a new client. And let's say this is Doug Johnson. I'll create a matter, maybe small claims matter. And now you would see the connection being made with the OneDrive folder. Very similar in its experience to Google Drive. The OneDrive does have certain benefits in terms of how it retains, I'd say, the nativity of the document's format. Okay, so for example, if you are a big Word document user, if you have a lot of your templates and if you have a lot of the corrections that you make right on your cloud, Office 365, then this is really helpful because it allows you to connect with that, make changes if you have to. So let's say this is small claims. And let's say it's DJ, then go into my Documents tab. And hit refresh. To refresh doesn't work. Let's authorize it. I think it did connect with my OneDrive because I've done this before. And I can even open that drive right from that one click. And go in uLawPractice, matter, and there it is, DJ 653141. And the same thing happens, right? Let's say you generate a retainer letter, and let's assume you generate that in a Word document, okay? And when you drag and drop that document into your OneDrive, for example, as you know, it's made available, no surprise there. But if you've got it in a OneDrive or Microsoft Drive, then what happens is it actually opens it as a Word document, native Word document, so you don't even need Microsoft Office on your local device. You could be working off this cloud right here. It's depending on the specific nature of the license that you've purchased on the cloud. You can be working off right here, making the edits, changes, and saving it right within the uLaw folder, and those changes would reflect right within uLaw. So that's an added advantage if you do have the Microsoft OneDrive, that it keeps the Word document as the way it is meant to be. Okay? But the feature in terms of the same component of Google Drive and how it's organized, folders, subfolders, all of that remain to be the same. Okay? So that was really everything I wanted to walk you through for today's webinar. Truly highlight the benefit of integrating uLaw with cloud storage systems. Of course, with every document that you do generate from uLaw, you have the immediate advantage of storing it locally in a device or a storage of your choice. But if you do store it in any of these providers that we shared with you in this webinar, then we do have that native integration with these providers through that file numbering system. And this also allows you to keep the latest and greatest document in one centralized location and easily accessible from the context of the file or the context of the actual expense that that particular document pertains to. Okay? So with that, I'll close today's webinar and open up for any questions that you may specifically have with pertaining to today's webinar. Yeah, feel free to email us with any questions that you may have, or you could ask me during our chat for the next 5 minutes if you have the time. Okay, there's a question as to how you would store the trust documents. Of course, I think what you're talking about is the compliance, so you can have that as a separate folder under your accounting, right? Or if you're looking for trust documents pertaining to a specific matter, just like how we did it for the other matter, we created these subfolders. You could create subfolders for Doug Johnson's, right under matter. You could actually have subfolders called trust documents. Right? And you can have all the documents that you generate right from the trust documents right in here. So for example, let's say we put in a couple of dockets. I'll put a retainer. Quick retainer goes into my trust account. Can give me a receipt. So starting with that retainer receipt could be a trust document if that's what you're meaning. Or if you're just looking for ledgers and journals, is that the question around ledgers and journals? Yeah, okay. I think the answer was around the ledgers and journals. Okay, so let me go ahead and actually do final doc closure. And just for purposes of today's time, I'm just going to make this a flat rate for 500 and generate an invoice. I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this, but I just want to show you how easy it is. So let me go ahead and generate that invoice. I'll hit a complete invoice, skip the preview, right? And that's why the terminology download. So in uLaw, we have the data. We allow you to download it and then repurpose that digital file wherever you please to. So when you download it, as you can see, it comes from our website, our server rather, that's in across Ottawa and Montreal, pushes it to your local computer. You can open it and save it locally, or you can basically drag and drop it under the invoice folder within OneDrive in this matter. So let me go ahead and click the question mark, do the trust transfer. Right, so I'm going to move that 565 from my trust account into my general account. I'll write myself a check. Or you know what, let me finish that whole cycle one more time. Why don't I do that again? I will not do the check. I would do a electronic fund transfer. And again, if you're in the province of Ontario, I'm sure you know this, you can generate a Form 9A, filling out the bank account information. So that actually is related to a trust document, if you will. You can upload that into your trust documents. Now, each matter allows you to generate ledgers, trust and general, pertaining to that specific matter if you choose to. So if you need to provide that to your client, you could just hit document generation, statements, trust. Okay? So this is not for the entire firm. This is a trust document just for this file for Doug Johnson. Okay? And now you could store that, download that file as well, and store it under the trust documents for just Doug Johnson's folder or file. So now when you go into trust documents, you'd automatically notice the ledger document as a PDF residing under that. So you've got the retainer receipt, and here's the statement ledger. Okay, so hopefully that, let me just zoom this a little bit further. So here's Mr. Doug Johnson's trust ledger. You've got 565 that came in. If you remember, we put the check in. There's a trust transfer for the legal fee invoice of 3210. Where is that 3210? You can go into your invoice, or you can go in here. If your auditor is going to ask, okay, show me the invoice. It's right within that uLaw file. If you've organized it, you can click on it and show him, here's that invoice, 3210. Show him or her. And here's the invoice. Once again, you can zoom this. 500 plus tax for the final closure docket. Here's the running bill. Tells you that it's 656. This is, you can have your own logo or letterhead. You can even put this stamp that says paid. And you also have your digital signature. Okay? So hopefully that answers that question. So with only 2 minutes left in the webinar, if there aren't any further questions, I will thank every one of you who have joined this webinar. Hope this was a informational session. Your time was spent. I will stop the recording.